Alright, so this is the last set of this is the last video for the 6.1 notes. Alright, so this is just practicing what we talked about last video, which are unions, intersections, and complements, alright, and doing them in application context. Alright, so the first example here are the same sets that I used in problem 1. Alright, this is my universal set. S is the numbers 1 through 9. And then A, B, C, and D are all subsets of that. Alright, they're all subsets. Alright, find the following. Alright, so we want to find so this is the math is a language. It's got notation that you have to be able to recognize, decipher, and then answer. Alright, so this is the symbols we talked about in the last video. This symbol, remember what it means. This symbol, remember what it means. And so I want the elements from set A and, alright, that symbol, this symbol is the and symbol, not, alright, that's the complement, not from set B. Alright, so those are the ones we're looking for. Anything, so I'm only looking at A and B. So I want anything that's in A and not in B. So basically I just take any number that's in A that's not showing up in B. Alright, so 2 is in A and it's not in B. 4 is in B, so I don't include 4. 6 is in A and not in B. 8 does show up, and so I don't include 8. So 2 and 6 are the answer. Alright, so 2 and 6 are the elements that I'm looking for. The elements in set A and are not in set B. Alright, next example. Which I'm going to draw 2, is I'm going to use both the symbols that we talked about last time. Alright, so just to kind of make sure that you understand that these two symbols are very, very different. And you have to make sure you recognize and understand them, get used to them. Alright, so the first one, so I'm involving C and D. So those are the only two sets I need to look at. So the first one is C or D. So I want the elements from set C or set D, right? That's the or symbol. Alright, I can take anything from the two sets. Remember, or is all inclusive. I just make sure if they share something, I only include it once, right? If they shared the number 2, it would only be included. In this case, they don't share, right? 2, 5, 9, 4, 7. So those are the numbers I include. So 2, 4, 5, 7, and 9. I just wrote them in order. If you did 2, 5, 9, then 4 and 7 would be fine. So had you written 2, 5, 9, and then 4 and 7, perfectly fine too. It's the same set, right? They're equal. So that's the or. Alright, the next one we're looking for, the symbol changes and it makes a big difference. I want the elements from, so I want the elements from the set C and D. Alright, that's what that notation means. So I want any element that is in both C and D. Well, C is the elements 2, 5, and 9. D are 4 and 7. They don't, right? They don't have any. The answers with set notation is the empty set, right? The empty set, no solution. There are no numbers that is shared between C and D. And so the answer is the empty set, right? They're disjoint. Right? And so that's the difference between and or. It's a big difference. Or I include all 5 numbers. And I don't include anybody. It's empty. Or is always more inclusive. And is always less inclusive or exclusive. Alright, let's do another example where I'm going to combine all 3. And, or, and complement in one set. Which is a lot of times how we'll ask it. And we'll actually practice it more in the next examples. I'm going to do one more here. Alright, so again, I'm going to kind of combine all 3. Alright, so Alright, so it's got all three symbols, and these are the kind of questions we like to ask on the test, because again, it incorporates everything in one question. So, order of operations still apply. Grouping symbols are done first. Then we take care of what's outside the grouping symbols. I am going to write it all out. So, inside the group, the first thing I do is this, which remember is A or D. So, I want my elements in set A or D first in the group. Then outside, once I figure this out, I then do the next step, which is the elements in and, right? That's the symbol and that's the complement. Not in set C. Alright, and I do that last. Alright, so the first thing I do, and I'm going to just put the numbers in the grouping symbols. First thing I do is figure out, well, what elements are in A or D? Alright, so I'm looking at A or D, so I get to include 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, and 7. Now they share 4. I don't write 2 4s down. There's only one 4. That would be the overlap. And so I only include one of the 4s. So 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 are in A or D. Alright, those are all the numbers that are in A or D. Now I do the and not in C, right? So I look at C, and I only pick those. So my final answer, so I use my set notation, is any number from this group that is not in C. Alright, well 2 is in C, so it's not included. 4 is not in C, so it's fine. 6 is not in C. 7, 8. Alright, so 2, 4, 6, 2 is not included. 4, 6, 7, and 8 are the answers. Alright, and there's the final answer. Alright, those are all of the elements that are in set A or D, and at the same time, not in set C. And like I said, this is the one that we're going to probably ask you on a test, which we're going to practice more in the next group. Alright, next example. Instead of numbers, I gave you letters. So I picked the word mutiny. Alright, M-U-T-I-N-Y. Alright, so those are the only, that's my universal, right? S is my universal. And then A, B, C are subsets. So there's small groups of those letters in the word mutiny. Alright, so A, list the elements in that group. Alright, so underneath it, I'm going to write what it means. So first part is C and. So C, that symbol stands for and. Then inside the group, remember there's this prime on the outside, so that means not this group. So not in the set A or B, right? That's the or symbol. Alright, well that's the first thing I take care of, is not in the set A or B, and then I'm going to do the and C. Alright, so I'm going to take care of my group first. Alright, anybody not in set A or B. Alright, so there's A, there's B. And so the easiest way, I think, is to look at the universal set and kind of go through it letter by letter and see if it's not in set A or B. Alright, well M is not in set A, not in set B. U is in both. T is in B, so it's not included. I is in A, N is in B, and Y is in both. Alright, so M is it. M is the only one not in set A or B. Alright, so the group is M, and so now I take care of the and in C. So is M also in C? Well, C contains the letters N and T. M is not in C, and so the answer is the empty set. There is no solution, right? Empty. There is no element from my universal set that is in C and not in A or B. Alright, so the answer is the empty set. Alright, the next example. List the elements in. So again, I've got my group, I've got my prime, which means not. Alright, so underneath it's everything that's not in the set A and, right, that's the and symbol, B, right, and symbol. Alright, so basically I want to throw anything out that's in both of them. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to erase what I have, and I'm going to list the stuff that they share. Alright, so I'm just going to circle it. So T is not shared, but U is, right, U is in both, Y is in both. Alright, and so those are the only ones I don't want. All right, I want everything that's not U and Y, right? U and Y are in A and B. All right, so I want everything from my universal set that is not U and Y. All right, so that's M, U, T, not U, M, T, I, and N. There we go. Make sure you got them all. M, T, I, and N. Throw out U, throw out Y because it's in both. All right, so there's the answer to that one. M, T, I, and N. M, T, I, and N. All right, the last one, which I may have to scroll back and forth to see. It's kind of squeezed in the bottom here. All right, first I'm going to write out what we're looking for. So in the group first, I want everything in set A or C. So I want everything in set A or C. And then outside, and not in B. All right, so the first thing, I'm going to list everything that's in set A or C. So remember, or is all inclusive, and if they share anything, they just count it once. All right, so A, U, I, Y, C is N, T, nothing, so I just write down U, I, Y, N, T. Those are all the letters from A or C. So make sure I don't miss any. U, I, Y, N, and T. All right, U, Y, I came from A, N and T came from C, and now I do the and not in B. So I'm going to write my B down so I have it. All right, so I'm going to list what B is. B is T-U-Y-N. T-U-Y-N. All right, so I want anybody in here that is not in here. All right, well, U is, so it's not included. I is not in B. Y is. N is T. That's I, is it? The answer is I. Bear with my writing on the tablet. All right, and so there's the answer. Right, I is the only letter in the group A or C, not B. All right, so it's the only letter in that set. All right, the last one from this example. All right, so this is our Cartesian product, which means, remember, I want all of the pairs where the first element comes from A and the second element comes from here. So I want all pairs. All right, so I'm going to list A down. A was the group U, I, and Y. C was the group N and T. Alright, so I'm going to find all of the pairs where I pick an element from A and pair it with an element from C. And so it's a Cartesian product because we multiply. I've got 3 elements from A, 2 elements from C, and so there should be 6 pairs altogether. So I'm going to take U, pair it with N and T, so I get my U paired with N, my U paired with T. Now I'm going to take I and do the same thing. I'm going to take I, pair it with N, I, pair it with T, and then Y, pair it with N, Y, pair it with T, and there is the Cartesian product of groups A and C, meaning it's sort of a new set, right? I had set A, I had set C, and then I paired them together to create a new set with 6 elements where I've got a pair, one from each of my groups. And I've got all the possible pairs, right? There are 6 possible pairs if I take those 2 groups and pair them together. All right, the last one has to do with the Venn diagram. All right, and so this is going to be a 3-set Venn diagram. All right, we'll do more with 3-set Venn diagram. We're just kind of getting toes wet here. Taking a 3-set Venn, and 3 sets as big as we'll get. We won't go over 3 sets. 2 sets and 3 sets are as big as we'll go. And we'll do applications, like I said, more in the next section. This one's just kind of getting you used to the setup and that there are different regions that we're going to talk about in my Venn diagram. Alright, so I've got my 3-set Venn diagram. So this box would be the universal set. This A would represent my set A. This B represents my circle B, set B. And this C represents my circle C. And then what I've done is I've labeled all of the regions, right? Regions means the area bounded by my circles or my box. And so this wedge right here would represent region A, right? This would be the element only in group A, right? E would be this wedge in the middle, which E would represent any element that's in all three circles, right? E is all three. This H represents all of the area outside of my three circles. So it'd be everything not in A, B, or C, right? And then everything in between. All right, so there are 8 regions in a 3-set Venn diagram. All right, and we're going to sort of figure out the different counts. All right, so the first one, A, and I'm going to write them down here so we can see the Venn diagram. All right, find the letters from each region or regions in the set Alright, so I want the letter of the regions that are found in this set. So this is the set we're looking for. So in words, I want everything that's in the regions not in B, or it can show up in the set S. Sorry, set A. So I want the regions that are in, that are not in set B, right? That's not in set B, or, right, that's the or symbol, in set A. Alright, so I want the regions that are in both, and I'm actually going to use a highlighter because I think it's easier to see. That's why I left this up here. Alright, so I'm going to use the pink for set A. Alright, so set A would be everything in circle A. Alright, so everything in circle A would be the regions that so that's what I mean by regions. So A, B, E, and D are all the regions in circle A. Alright, now I want the regions that are not in set B. Alright, so set B would be this circle, and I want everybody, so this would be B. But this time, I want the stuff outside of B. So it means I'm going to shade not in B, which means everything that's outside that circle. Alright, so I want or is all inclusive, meaning I want everybody that's in the green part or the pink part, purple, pink, whatever color you want to call it. Alright, so that means I get to include everybody except for C and F. C and F are the only ones not shaded, so I get to include A, B, E, D, G, and H. Alright, those are all of the regions that are not in circle B, or they showed up in circle A, right? Or I get to include B and E because they're in circle A. Alright, I'm going to erase it and use it again. Do the next example. Alright, so bear with me while I erase this. Alright, part B. We want to find the letter of the regions in each set formed by Alright, so I want the regions that are in set A, and, right, that's the and symbol, and then the group, set B, or C. Alright, first, set B or C, right? Always do the group first. Alright, so everything, so or is all inclusive, right? So I'm going to highlight in green everything that's in circle B. Well, here's circle B, or circle C, and they do share some. And so that would be everything we'd include in B or C. Alright, now the and A part. Alright, so this time, so this would be circle A. Alright, so if I shade in circle A, All right, set A. But this time, because it's the and, I only want the overlap, right? What's in the purple part and the green part. Well, the part in the purple part and the green part is just this the parts where they overlap. That's the word I'm looking for, where they overlap. All right, which is B, E, and D, right? Those are the overlap, and it's because it's the word and we look for the what's in both. It's not all. If it was or, I would include everything that's in the green part and the purple part. But since it's and, I only include the parts they share. All right, so set A and the green set, which is B or C, only share the regions B, E, and D. So bed, B, E, D. That's the answer. Alright, the last one. So part C, so that's the last one for this set. Alright, so C, find the letters that form from each region in the group. Alright, so first in words, remember that prime on the outside means not in this group. So we want everything that's not in the set C and A. Right, that's the group. Or it can be in set B. Or, right, that's the or symbol. You can read that. Or in set B. Just going to do or in B. Alright, so again, I'm going to highlight. First thing I'm going to highlight is everything that's not in set, and remember, it's not in both. It's everything that's not in the overlap between C and A. So the overlap between C and A would be this wedge. Alright? D and E are in C and A, right? Those are the only two regions that are in both C and A at the same time. Well, remember, I want everybody that's not there, so it's everything outside of that wedge. Alright, so I would highlight everything outside of the parts in C and A. Or it can be in B. Alright, so now I'm going to highlight B. Alright, so B is this circle, so there's circle B. So if I highlight circle B, alright, there's everything that's in circle B. Since it's the or statement, it's all inclusive. It's everything from here, so it's all the green parts plus all the purple parts. And if they have overlap, you only count the overlap once. Alright, so I basically get to include everybody in the green part, everybody in the purple circle. So the only guy that's not included is D. D is the only one not shaded. Everybody else is shaded, and since it's the or statement, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for all possible regions that are shaded. And so I get to include A, B, C, E, F, G, and H. The only one I don't include is D. D is the only one that's not in that shaded region. So again, everything all inclusive because it's or. If it was and, I would only do the overlap. Alright, which would basically be everything in circle B. Alright, but it's not, it's or. Alright, and so there's the answer. A, B, C, E, F, and G. Everything except for that wedge D. Alright, so that finishes up the 6.1 set of lecture notes. Alright, and the next set of notes will be from the 6.2.